Hey guys, a lot of my videos I've talked about how I try to be a field player. And I've realized that I never really explained what the hell I'm talking about when I say that. And some of you guys might be wondering, what the hell is Dave talking about when he says that? So I kind of want to do like a little series of videos. One of them would be this one, which I want to be, what the hell am I talking about? What is a field player? To me, maybe cut some more videos about why you might want to do it, why you might not want to do it. And then if you decide to do it, how? How do you get into it? I've been, doing this since the mid 80s, trying to, be a field player. So that may not make me an expert, but I'm not completely stupid when it comes to this subject. So take any of your top pool playing professionals that are really, really mechanically sound and solid and the best fundamentals and all that. The person I'm thinking of is Federer. Dennis might be another one. There's probably many others, but take somebody that's you think of as, man, I wish I had his fundamentals. I could be, good too or better than I am anyway. Any of those guys, I would bet that any of those guys, they're going to come down on a shot and they're going to subconsciously, consciously perhaps, they're going to be figuring out, okay, what they're going to put on the shot. What's their squirt going to be? How much spin-induced throw are they going to get if they're putting spin on the shot? How much contact-induced throw? All the stuff. Where's the damn pocket? What's the angle? They're figuring out all this stuff. They get down and they have the best fundamentals in the world, and they get down and they're like, okay, fine, 3 practice strokes or whatever their prescribed number is within their pre-shot routine. They do all that, but I would bet that every single one of them, if they do all that and the shot doesn't feel right, they're not going to shoot it. They're going to reset something, whether that means stand up and do everything over again, or maybe tweak something down here, tweak a bridge or something. If it doesn't feel right, they're gonna change. They're gonna change something, or they're probably gonna miss the shot. And they know this. These are the top players in the world I'm talking about as the examples here. To be a field player, as opposed to a more, see, I always want to use the word robotic, but I don't want that to sound bad. But that's the word that I usually use for the people that are not field players. They're, like I said, fundamentally, mechanically, very, 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 very good. To be a field player, you do that first. So, an example I use was Federer. If Federer gets down on the shot, he does all his pre-shot routines and all this, and he's calculating, perhaps subconsciously, because he's experienced everything that's going to happen. And he gets down on the shot, and he takes his practice strokes. If it doesn't feel right, he's going to reset and start over again. As a field player, what I try to do is do that first. What feels right first? Does this feel right? Does this feel right? Yeah, okay, now at times I can think about it a little bit and use the more analytical robotic side of myself to confirm. But briefer, it's a much briefer confirmation. It's like, yeah, because I already know that it feels right and looks right, or I wouldn't have been down there in the first place. Make sense? Might make sense. So just get down on the shot, and then when I'm down there, maybe I go, yeah, okay, my calculations appear to be correct or whatever. Don't know, that doesn't always happen. I think being a field player can throw me, at least, into dead stroke much, much, much more easily than if I was more reliant on solid fundamentals and all that. It's what I think. That's kind of what I was taught. And honestly, that's the big difference between someone like what I try to be and someone like Federer. And I'm set aside talent and youth and all that. Set aside all that, but in just the style of play, the approach of play, I try to make it feel right, and I maybe confirm it with a more analytical side of myself after I've made sure it feels right. Whereas someone like Federer would get it right in his head, his analytical side of his head, his procedures, his pre-shot routine, all that, and then it's got to feel right. I'm not a mind reader. I think I mentioned that before. For all I know, if it doesn't feel right, somebody like Federer might just shoot the damn ball anyway, because they have the best fundamentals that I've ever seen in my life, and they learn to trust those fundamentals. That may be the case, but I honestly believe that a lot of people, if it doesn't feel right, they're not going to shoot it. I have bugs in my house. I don't like it. Little gnats. These little gnats in my house because I had water on my carpet. Anyway, I could probably yammer on and on and on about what it means to me to be a field player. But I think I've already summarized it. That's the main difference, the absolute main difference. It does not mean that I just tra-la-la-la-la my way through life and the balls go in like magic or voodoo or some kind of psychic powers or anything like that. It just means that I try to make sure that it feels correct before anything else. I try to make sure every step feels right instead of going, okay, I'm lined up correctly. No, wait a minute, let me move this foot this far. Okay, now I'm lined up correctly. No, what feels right? To me, this seems like a much quicker process. And for me, that's good. One of the main reasons I'm doing this, and I'll get into that if I do a how to be a field player video, which I probably will, is it's faster. And I don't have the concentration that a lot of these top, more robotic players have. I don't have it. I never have had it. So I'm learning to do things fast. So instead of doing all, being slow and pre-shot and all this, and that can take a while. And then maybe the field part doesn't take very long at all. And then shoot the shot, miss the 5, never miss a hit pool. Or I can do a much faster feel thing. Does this feel right? Does this feel right? Does this feel right? Bend over, maybe confirm it, shoot the ball in the hole. Maybe. Either way, it's a lot faster. For me, that's the biggest problem, is concentration. I don't have the concentration to be a more robotic player. That's the difference. I remember explaining this, trying to explain this once a long time ago in the old internet, Usenet group days. I was pretty active in that stuff. And I think I said the same thing. I'm not saying I just try to tra-la-la my way through a game or expect to tra-la-la my way through a game. It's just that I have learned that making sure it feels right first, it helps. In my case, it absolutely helps. I absolutely shoot better by making sure everything feels right first, and then maybe doing some robotic type analytics a little bit later on. I do better doing that than I do doing the robotic type analytics. I keep using the word robotic. I'm not meaning to disparage anybody. I wish I could do that. And I wish I could do that. I wish that was an option for me. It's usually not. Maybe 1 out of 30 times I play, do I feel like I have concentration that is that good? But for me, it does. I do better, making sure it feels right. Okay, maybe confirm it and shoot. I do better doing that than I do aiming it, pre-shot routine, all this and that. Does it feel right? Oh shit, it didn't feel right. So do it all again. Might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I think the books say if you get down on a shot and when there's something wrong, you are supposed to stand up and do it all over again. I don't know too many people who do that. Actually, I know one, and he drives everybody crazy because he'll be for it seems like several hours on every shot. Anyway, for me, see that didn't feel right. Talking to the camera, that's fine. That's what it is to me to be a field player. Is put what feels right first, and then if you're going to do any more mechanical, robotic, fundamental type of analysis of the shot, do it after you make sure it feels right. Most players, and I believe most top players, are much more of the robotic type of guys. Players, not just guys, women too, that will do all that stuff and then just make sure it feels right. I just flip them. That's all it is. That's all it means to me. To other people who consider themselves field players, maybe they have different definitions. That's just my channel, my opinion. All right, guys. Bye.